Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for a daily dose of Dismal Disney.
Right.
Here we go again. Disney Plus with its censorship. Now they're not letting children watch movies like Dumbo at all.
Well, that's not, on their account.
On their account.
Okay, so basically we had before that they were taking these movies and putting those content warnings on them. And it's like, okay, content warnings. I understand. I think it's dumb, but whatever. They have those on there, but you can still watch them. Well, the newest thing they've done is if children have some of these movies on their account, because like they might have a parental account and kids each might have their own with their saved things on it. They have gone and taken those movies off of the children's account, locked them out of the children's accounts. They can't use it because they decided for parents that they were too bad for these children to watch.
Yeah, Dumbo is too bad for little kids. You're not allowed to watch it. Swiss Family Robinson, a couple others. We're going to talk about that. And talk about the fact that Disney came up with this idea based on a third party that came in and told them they're racist.
Right, because they said that you can go to their stories, something about how they're picking this stuff, and you can click on up here, because here's what it takes you to. It's the Stories Matter at the Walt Disney Company. This is literally what Spaceship Earth was going to be.
I honestly think this is what
I know you're
be.
right. So stories shape how we see ourselves and everyone around us. So as storytellers, we have the power and responsibility to not only uplift and inspire, but also consciously, purposely, and relentlessly champion the spectrum of voices and perspectives in our world, as long as they're the right voices and perspectives. And also, I'm like, there's no way in hell that you can constantly make everyone happy. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. We're going to talk about this issue, and then I think we're gonna dredge up. I'm going to dredge up Song of the South again.
I've dredged up in my article too.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're either barely over 173 or almost there. 1,000.
Don't know. So
173,000 subs.
Woo!
Thank you. By the time you get this, we definitely will be. Thank you for the support. We're hoping for 200,000 soon. And so you put this up this morning. That Disney is, and a lot of people are talking about this.
They're mostly talking about as a news thing. Oh, Disney just did that. I'm taking it about from a parental perspective. It's like, Disney, you don't get to tell me how I can parent my kids. Like, you went and locked that out on my kid, on the kids. If my kids had that on their Disney Plus, their section, you went and locked it out so they can't watch it because you decided. Maybe I told them they could put it on there, but you decided to override me as a parent to appeal to probably a very vocal minority, like we saw with like the change to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
As a redhead female, I was not offended. No one asked me what I thought. Because some people were mad about it. There are petitions that are much bigger than others about how they want to not have Splash Mountain changed. Doesn't matter because a few people complained. You are making everybody else suffer the consequences, but you don't get to tell parents how to parent their children.
Yeah. So the movies that they're removing from kids' accounts, it's really kind of all over the place because it is some of the movies I would have expected, and a couple I'm kind of surprised didn't make the list. Like
well,
Lady and the
these
Tramp.
are the ones so far that I know of. There could be, I think Lady and the Tramp might be one that gets pulled too. I know they have the warning on it.
So Swiss Family Robinson, Aristocats.
Right. Swiss Family Robinson because the pirates had brown or yellow faces. Because don't you know, all pirates are just white people.
Okay. Aristocats. Of course, because of the Asian cat with the chopsticks.
Right, which they also did in Lady and the Tramp.
Dumbo, of course, because of the crows, I'm sure.
That and a couple of the actors are blackface in it, apparently.
Okay, and the alcoholism.
Even though didn't they put a clown face on him and he was white, and they took a gray character and made it white.
I believe so.
Yeah, how dare they?
And Peter Pan because of the Native American insensitivity. So they're gonna take the Native Americans out of the Peter Pan attraction.
That was what they were talking they were going to do.
Yeah, what are they going to replace them with? Because that was kind of a big scene in the movie. I mean, the whole purpose was they were saving Princess Tiger Lily. Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to do that now.
What are you going to do? Let's just like...
Well, they had the murderous mermaids, and they were a couple of them were redheads. I mean, how dare they? That's insensitive to redheads. But anyway, they're going down here. But you brought a point to me. You said, what about Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End? Because they had their big, all the ships come in and all different pirate groups come in. And they had like the African pirates and they had like the Asian pirates and they had like the Middle Eastern pirates.
Diversity, diverse pirates.
Right.
Of the
And then
Caribbean.
they made Elizabeth Swann in charge of the Asian pirates.
They put the white woman in charge of the Asian pirates.
Right.
They did. Yes.
There is no warning on that movie that I've seen. But then I wouldn't probably put it on your kids' viewing list anyway.
Warning: this movie contains Johnny Depp. Some people might be triggered.
You know,
You've been warned.
but so that's not on there. But Swiss Family Robinson is because the pirates weren't all white people.
Okay.
And if they had been all white people, they'd have been pissed that they were all white people.
Yeah.
It's a racial stereotype because all pirates were historically white.
It's too white. This is just, it's too white.
Just like, don't you know, in history, they didn't auction off women and stuff when they pillaged villages. No, they only auctioned off chickens and rum, and they made the redhead the one of the pirates. Even though historically redheads were sold for a lot more money.
Yeah, because everybody wants a redhead.
You know, if they weren't feared, they were prized. Well, I mean, not that you had a choice; they sold you. It was either you were like really, worth a lot, or they were afraid of you and stoned you. It could, it could go either way.
You're priceless.
I am.
You're one of a kind. I could never replace you. So anyway,
three.
Anyway, Disney implemented this is coming from the Daily Mail. This is what gets me. They implemented a revised content advisory in October to flag any issues. We talked about that before.
Right.
Surrounding racial stereotypes and concerns that were raised in relation to Peter Pan and other productions. 60, 70-year-old movies. We got to go back.
It was in October they really started this, yes.
The decision to ban the films from children's account was made by a group of external experts.
Sensitivity readers.
Yes, who were brought in to assess if the content represented global audiences. This is a huge problem. And this is what's going on in publishing, and this is what's going on in Hollywood, and this is where a lot of this batshit crazy stuff, I think, is coming from, is because these firms, these sensitivity readers, of course are going to tell you there's a problem. They get paid to look for problems.
It's probably a bunch of white women on Twitter.
Probably. But this kind of goes along with the rumor that Disney actually is performing an audit of all of their attractions to see if they're, sensitive enough. Are they going to get rid of the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse?
Well, they've talked before about making that Tarzan, but I'm worried about the American Adventure because that's on the list, and I'm like, I'm sorry, history doesn't, because they're basically reporting to talk about history, and they do it in a way that I thought was pretty fair.
It was pretty inclusive. They said we're not perfect. We're working on
it. But I'm just like, watch them take that out and change it because you can't report history as history. You have to rewrite it to make it more palatable to some of these people because that's called fiction. Not history. That's fiction.
I'm going to be completely honest when I say a lot of these people who complain can't afford to go to the theme parks anyway.
Yeah.
But I digress.
It's not completely untrue.
Nobody's going to be able to afford to go to the theme parks.
That's true. It's because most people aren't going to be able to afford to go because they keep jacking the prices.
Yeah. So, look. Yeah.
I like this, though. I want to talk about this for a minute. They go on about this. They said, rather than removing this content, we see an opportunity to spark conversation and open dialogue on history that affects us all. I know somebody else who said that. Whoopi Goldberg said that.
She did. Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg, Disney legend, person who considers herself on the right side of history. Whoopi Goldberg, her first act as a Disney legend was that she wanted Disney to release Song of the South. To stop running from it. They made the movie. And actually, the movie does mean a lot to a lot of different people. It's only been in more... I mean, it was kind of controversial at the beginning, but we're going to even talk about the actors and their reaction to it, that they've actually said that they're proud of being able to work on it. This is a Cartoon Brew article from 4 years ago, talking about how Whoopi Goldberg wanted Disney to release Song of the South. They vaulted it permanently. It will never show up on Disney Plus, according to Bob Iger. You can't buy it anywhere. You can buy bootlegs. You can actually find it for free out on YouTube, by the way. Disney's so ashamed of it, they won't even copyright strike it. It's like, we don't own this at all. But they're changing Splash Mountain because it's got the Brer characters. Now, they also appear in the comic books. And I worked on many, many, many Disney comic books with the Brer characters because the overseas audiences love them because to them, since they don't have the quote unquote historical baggage that America has, to them they're just a bunch of funny animals.
Right, but they're not actually. They don't tie it to that all the time. Like a lot of times, they're just stories with funny animals with points to them, like morals to them. They aren't so much so that it's about racism.
Yeah, but it's interesting because I know Hattie McDaniel was Gone with the Wind. She was in it too, and James Baskett. They also expressed that they were proud to work on the movie, that they actually wouldn't have worked on the movie if they thought it disparaged black folks. James Baskett in particular was the first black man to get an Oscar.
Right. So basically what you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater here, people. By hiding it and acting like it didn't happen, you're actually doing a bigger disservice to major milestones and to people. I know the one lady that was in charge of the one museum that's related to the to this.
Uncle Remus.
Yeah, she was a black lady, and she was talking about how she was upset that they refused to acknowledge it and things. I remember seeing an article about it.
Yeah, this is Hattie McDaniel from Gone with the Wind. She said in an interview in 1947, okay, now this is a long time ago, but she said, if I had for one moment considered any part of the picture degrading or harmful to my people, I would not have appeared in it. Her co-star James Baskett echoed her support of the film, saying, I believe that certain groups are doing my race more harm in the seeking to create dissension than can ever possibly come out of Song of the South. If you watch Song of the South, the big complaint is that it paints a more idealized version of post-Civil War South and all of that. The movie itself, I expected, given all the outrage and everything, that it was like, oh my God, the worst thing ever. And I'm like, one, it's kind of boring. I'm gonna be honest. But two, it's a pretty milquetoast movie. I mean, it's not racy at all. It's just that in more recent times, people have called out that, this is kind of playing in the stereotypes and whatever. They, at least the woman who ran the museum was like,
yeah. So I'm like, I'm not going to say what it should or shouldn't mean to people because it's not my place to say so. But I don't think it's Disney's place, back to the main point, to tell parents what they're, to make the choice for parents, what their kids should and shouldn't be watching. Like, you still can watch it on the parental accounts, but the point is, if a parent let their child put it on their account, because then that way the child can go watch it when they wanted to, and then the child's not allowed to watch it because Disney has decided that they have more say over it than the parents do, then that's a problem. Why bother putting warnings on it at all, leaving it up at all, if you're just going to take it away?
This isn't going to stop with these movies.
No.
What's going to happen is it's going to get to a point with, and this is the problem with Disney Plus. I mean, we're talking about the same Disney Plus that CG'd extra hair on the Daryl Hannah.
Oh my God, it looks so bad.
And PG-rated splash. It looked like she was wearing a hula skirt or something.
It looked like hair was growing out of places it shouldn't be growing.
Yeah. I mean, this is the problem with these streaming services as people transition into all digital and they don't actually own a physical copy, is they can be altered at any point in time. Any scene that's offensive can be altered out like that on a movie. So, we're going to lose, again, because a lot of people are giving up on physical media, we're going to lose history. We're going to lose original versions of movies. And you're not even going to realize it. A lot of people aren't even going to realize it. And what's going to happen is only the version that's available today is the real version. And, it's like the special Star Wars special edition, just times 1,000. And they're not going to stop. What they're going to do is, if anything is problematic, even 2 or 3 years ago, they'll just make sure kids can't watch it or take it off the platform or edit out the problematic parts. And that's it.
Well, the kicker is that instead of just like letting things be what they are, and then trying to do better moving forward or whatever, the problem becomes that when they have to try to undo everything to appease everyone, you're always going to step over somebody.
Yeah.
You're always going to be racist or phobic or istophobic against somebody or some group, because you cannot represent everyone.
No. And times change. I mean, I think most normal people, not Twitter.
Yeah, don't go by Twitter.
But most normal people realize that if a movie was made 70 or 80 years ago, it's going to reflect the culture of 70 or 80 years ago. And that's kind of what's fascinating about watching older movies, is you can see how far we've come, how far we've progressed. And it's kind of quaint to watch these movies and be like, sometimes it's quaint. Sometimes it's like, what the hell? But you do see progress. If you take that away, we have nothing to. Again, this is that rewriting of history.
Right, but to me, this is even beyond that, because basically parents are letting their kids put it on their profiles, and Disney decided for the parents what their kids should be allowed to watch.
Well, then parents should I'd say just give your kids access to the adult. But this isn't like Netflix. It's not like your kids are going to watch Cuties or something.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's not like that. So you can let them have access to the more adult things, but they're going to probably get like some of the things that might be more violent or whatever.
Like Daryl Hannah's furry ass.
Yes. Oh God.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's risky. That's about as risky as they get on Disney.
Well, no, Pirates of the Caribbean movies are on there, and they get a little more violent and stuff. So I'm just saying, there's some things on there you might not want your little kids to watch. My daughter, when she saw this, thought, one, it was absolutely stupid, and then two, she's like, but I don't really watch Disney Plus unless I'm really, really bored anyway.
Yeah, that is true. She's already kind of over Disney Plus. I'm already. I've been over Disney.
We've had all this time, and other than watching like The Mandalorian and WandaVision and a couple other things, I don't even watch it.
At first I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. All this old, Disney content. And I was going through it. I'm like, well, we have that on DVD. I've seen this 1,000 times. I don't really care about this one. Whatever.
For me, Discovery Plus is much more exciting. I'm like, oh, I can watch all the episodes of this show or that show or whatever. I'd rather watch Discovery Plus than Disney Plus. But that's just me.
All the ghost shows you can watch.
That's what
all
I like.
The paranormal shows.
But I'm just saying, it's like, I get it. Okay, I can even, be okay with the warnings. I think it's a little excessive, but, okay, I understand that. That's a nice compromise. I could agree with that. But then going and just unilaterally deciding that parents aren't allowed to decide for their children what they can and can't watch, I think is just overstepping.
Yeah. Yeah.
The warnings were enough.
Disney overstepping? Imagine that. How could Disney?
And of course you can go put it on the parent account, but some people, they don't have the time. Like their kids want to watch a movie and they're in the middle of working on something and they're like, oh yeah, go ahead and watch one of your movies on Disney Plus, and then they have to get up, go do all this stuff. I'm not saying that these parents should have the parent, but I'm like, it's extra steps that's pointless and stupid. So either don't have children's accounts at all. That could solve it, Disney. Don't offer children to be able to customize their own accounts. But then that kind of goes against the whole leveraging children, which is worse. Disney leveraging family and children, or parents not being able to have to say in their kids what the kids watch.
Yeah. Well, considering that parents just let kids watch Disney Plus probably as a babysitter.
They figure it's Disney Plus because it's safe.
Yeah.
Don't put it on there if you don't think it's safe, or don't let people have children accounts.
We watched Dumbo in school in elementary
school. So did I.
You
know what was a hell of a lot worse than this stuff that we used to watch in elementary school? Dark Crystal.
Oh my God.
Secret of Nim.
Nature documentaries.
Yeah. Rainbow flipping Bright and the Star Stealer. They flipping, they kill the girl at the end.
Yeah, well, she comes back in the show somehow. But yeah, they imply heavily that
she's
died.
Dead. I'm like that. We used to watch that kind of crap. And that was like, that was the movie that you'd watch for your school movie.
I was watching Friday the 13th movies when I was like 10.
But Dumbo's bad because it has racial stereotypes that most kids today know are bad.
I will tell you the truth, the entire time growing up, I never even connected that the crows were supposed to be racial stereotypes.
Neither did I. I just thought they were assholes.
Yeah, because it was so far removed from that
From our reality, yes.
That to me, I was just like, oh, they're crows with hats and they're singing the song and that's it.
Oh, they were just being mean to them. I thought
they were just
a bunch of asshats. So I was just like,
I don't know. You gotta wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. There will be no shortage of daily doses of Dismal Disney this year, because I think things are going to get really crazy, especially if they have this outside firm coming in and telling them what to do.
Disney, you're so crazy.